Welcome to Letters to Rising Leaders. It's a podcast series about God, soul, love, and leadership. And I'm your host, Tom Mohr. If you're joining along in my book, Letters to Rising Leaders, this is week 47, and the topic is growth. We live to grow, right? From the moment we're born till the moment we die, life unfolds, our experiences unfold, the seasons of our lives unfold. And at every moment of that journey, God calls upon us to see ourselves more honestly, to journey with Him further, to go more deeply into the heart of our souls, and see those patterns that we need to work on in order to draw more closely to Jesus. George Bernard Shaw once said, "I want to be thoroughly used up when I die, for the harder I work, the more I live. I rejoice in life for its own sake. Life is no brief candle to me. It's sort of a splendid torch which I have a hold of for a moment, and I want to make it burn as brightly as possible before handing it over to future generations." You are a torch. How brightly will you burn? That's dependent upon how fully you commit to growth. Muscles, in order to grow, they have to tear. That's how muscles grow. And so it is with our souls. When our egos encounter God in the silence of our souls, the ego gets torn down every time we have to acknowledge some mistake, some failure, some sin. We then have to further admit how that sin has impacted others. And there's another tear. But in those tears, we're made stronger. Through those experiences, we become less self-centered. We widen our circles of care. And we learn, and therefore we grow. I have a story I'd like to share with you. When I was a kid, I went to Camp Dudley. I was there for 8 summers, and camp has a variety of sporting activities that everyone gets involved in. For me, I got into wrestling. It was one of the things I did that I enjoyed at Camp Dudley. And came along that there was going to be a wrestling tournament. And so I won my first match, and lo and behold, I won the next match and the next, until suddenly I'm in the finals. The kid I was fighting had won the state championship in his age and weight class. So I went in right away knowing this was a lost cause. I wasn't going to win this match, but I did have a goal. I was bound and determined not to get pinned. And so the fight begins. He has me in a headlock right away, and I'm wrestling, and he gets me almost into a pin, and I wiggle out of it, and he gets me in another spot. He's racking points up left, right, and center. But I kept avoiding getting pinned until finally he gets me in a headlock. His arm was right over my mouth. And he's twisting me, and I know that I'm about ready to get pinned. Well, we're close to the edge of the mat. And I know if I can get across that line, the ref is going to reset us and I avoid getting pinned. But I couldn't get to the edge. And I tried everything I could, and he was twisting and twisting, and my back was turning closer and closer. His arm was right across my mouth. I bit him. That's what I did, in the arm. And he let out a bit of a yelp and released his arm just enough for me to get across that edge line. The ref didn't tune in to the fact that I had bit him, and he awarded us a reset, lost a few points, but I didn't get pinned. And after that happened, I went years looking back on that as a big highlight in my youth, where I proved to myself that I could overcome adversity, that I had endurance, that I could withstand pain and fight through it and muster all kinds of reserves I never realized I'd had. And it's only been more recently that I have revisioned that life history to recognize that moment was a lowlight, not a highlight, because I cheated. That's how I avoided getting pinned. That's not what Jesus wanted me to do in that moment. And that means growth, right? I grew in my journey decades later than I should have, obviously, but to a point where I could acknowledge that. And so it is that God calls you and all of us to continuously grow, to look honestly upon ourselves, about our failings, our patterns of sin, and to recognize their impact, then hand them over to God to seek forgiveness so that we can move forward. I think there's some disciplines that promote that kind of growth. Morning prayer every day. I try to get in 20 minutes every day. Go to church. Go every week. In church, in prayer, you can connect with God in the fellowship of others. Study, Bible study, other readings, action, getting out into the world and getting in the game to do something for Jesus. These all, prayer, study, action, are ways that we can grow. I'm going to leave it there. The song for this week is Turn Over Gentle. Robert Berry joins me on instrumentals. Enjoy.
Turn over gentle now, gentle that loam. Clay covers my soul. It traps me alone. Underneath it I've nursed fears on my own. So pull up my sin, Lord, help me atone. Meager my fruits are, you know how I've strayed. In mulch of my poverty, plant me your way. Set me in straight, well-rooted I pray. To sun guide me upward to grow day by day. Then transplant me humble into the need. Remind me the cross where Jesus did bleed. Help me cast gentle now, gentle your seed. For only by you might each plant succeed. Meager my fruits are, you know how I've strayed. In mulch of my poverty, plant me your way. Set me in straight, well-rooted I pray. To sun guide me upward to grow day by day. Turn over gentle now, gentle that loam. Clay covers my soul, it traps me alone. Underneath it I've nursed fears on my own. So pull up my sin, Lord, help me atone. As rain and sunshine fall from above, may furrow by furrow I seed with your love. As rain and sunshine fall from above, may furrow by furrow I seed with your love.
May furrow by furrow I seed with your love. Well, that's it for today. I hope you'll join us next week for the next episode in this Letters to Rising Leaders podcast series. As I say each week, leader of goodness, go in faith to love and heal the world.